Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. First, I'd like to say that I have nothing to be sorry for whatsoever. And secondly, I'd like to say, for good measure, that if I made any mistakes that were offensive, then I apologize. Now, with that being said, I think that it's important to note again that I believe in keeping an open mind. Okay, for those of you who are struggling with the definition, the textbook definition of liberal versus how it's applied, I'm someone who's open to new ideas within reason. I'm not going to set myself on fire for no reason, cut my legs off for no reason, okay? But I'm open to new ideas and suggestions. And I insist, not just request or think it's a good idea, I insist on people rallying and creating a moral committee so that we make things fair. People who are white gentlemen, Jewish gentlemen, LGBT, black, Hispanic, Asian, Islander, Semitic, Native, you name it. Okay? Also, it's important to note that I'm not taking sides in this election. No offense to anybody. I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, and I'm not a libertarian. When it comes to the textbook definition of liberal, I'm more like that. I'm open to new ideas. I believe in your rights, your human rights, your civil rights, what people often think of as your constitutional rights, your freedom of speech, your freedom of religion, your right to assemble, etc. Okay? Not to assemble to do some kind of terrorist activity, okay? But your right to assemble to peacefully debate, your right to have a fair trial, a fair system, and I do not believe that any of you are getting that right now. If you go to court, your trial won't be entirely fair because the system's corrupt. No offense to anybody. And I'm being fumed. As a liberal, I believe that we have a right to question the system. We have a right to be suspicious of the system, law enforcement, military, of each other, of religions. We have a right to discuss these things. You shouldn't be trying to draw Muhammad or burn down a church or offend people, but you have a right to discuss it and say, hey, I think you're wrong and I think I'm right. Okay? Because if you care about people, you try to help them. And racial and religious and political boundaries, they should not be getting in the way. Okay? I've said many times before, I'm the type of person who gets along with everybody. I'm the type of person that's trying to help everybody even though I'm being persecuted and so on and so forth. Okay? If you listen to me, you'll be doing what's best for your family. You've been trained to believe that that's magically not the case, but it is the case. Because I deal in logic, not conserving values. Okay, I'm not, my dad, his tribe, the Igbos, before Christianity, they had their, pagan beliefs. I do not believe in their pagan beliefs. For the most part. Okay, I believe this, I think the same way as whatever Igbos thought in terms of there's one God, his son came down here, there's a natural alpha of all humanity, things like this. I agree with them. But I do not believe certain things that a lot of them believe. Okay? So I don't, sorry for coughing so much, but I think it's important that people hear that so they know that I'm being fumed anyway. I do not believe what any Igbo would say, randomly saying, hey, this is what this mystery, this mythology means, and you're this identity. No, my kingdom is not of this world. No offense to anybody. I believe in universal pinpointing moral precision. I don't believe that just because I'm part of a tribe or a country that I should magically default with those beliefs. I do not believe that. I believe let's discuss it, let's get to the bottom of it, let's be very suspicious of the government and their brain hacking and artificial intelligence and their fumes and stuff in the air and the environment. Let's look at each other. Let's ask ourselves, hey, are some of these people benefiting while others are being sabotaged? Are they trying to forge a social order behind the scenes? I don't believe in doing things behind the scenes. I believe in coming out into the light and saying this is what's going on. I'm very, very suspicious, and for a very, very good reason, of all secret societies, government groups, intelligence agencies, you name it. The guys who are saying Big Brother is watching are onto something. And I was open enough to that idea to the point where I did my research and I realized, yes, my suspicions were true. Now they're backed by facts and history. And the lack of a compelling counter-argument from the opposition view. That's called being rational. Let reason prevail. Let truth prevail. So I see gentlemen, I see very conservative gentlemen in their church videos, and people lean right, people kind of centrist, okay? Where they're making a mistake, no offense to anybody, is that they're holding on to certain ideas instead of questioning them thoroughly, and instead of dedicating themselves completely to what is absolutely true. It has been said that the word Horus, now I know a lot of you don't like when I talk about this, and I think there's a lot of what you might call Horus phobia out there, right? They're phobic, right? They're afraid, like xenophobic. They don't like the idea of a righteous Royal African Falcon martial artist who seems to transcend everyone else. I'm like the Michael Jordan of religion, so to speak, of martial arts, of love and social life, and of giving speeches. So people sabotage me. Because when people see me, they're like, whoa! But you got to take a step back. Those of you who are a different race, I'm glad you're listening so you can really ask yourself, search your soul. Is that how it's supposed to be? Because my ancestors went a different direction than yours, that you're supposed to try to stop me from looking good? Even though I'm biracial, on top of that. Are you supposed to try to stop me because we're in some kind of racial competition, even though my kingdom is not of this world and I don't plan to have any children? Is that really how you want it to be? That's really how you want your soul to be. That's really how you want to convey your energy to your families and your nations. Got to come to terms with things. Wouldn't it be nice if you were born with wings? Or if you knew more about why you're here, if you learned faster, you were a lot smarter? Okay, you have to come to terms with the limitations that are placed on you. And when it comes to intelligence, it's a little confusing because people can grow and so on and so forth. But you weren't born with wings, right? You got to accept it. The sun is the sun. It's bright. Everyone notices it. Not everyone notices you. The sun is in the sky. Everyone sees it. Wow, it's hot. And you're okay with that. You're okay with the moon and the stars outshining you. You're okay with cheetahs being faster than you. Birds having wings and you not having wings. You're okay with the people from your races, for the most part, doing better than you, whoever it is, whoever it may apply to. But you're not okay with a mulatto Jesus top martial artist because you're not open to the idea. Females shun me while being persecuted because they're not open to the idea of choosing morality over what they think is comfort. And when you choose it, when you choose morality, you find that you're more comfortable being persecuted doing the right thing than you were not being persecuted because you're doing the wrong thing. You'll find that you're more comfortable listening to somebody stumbling over their words, okay, who's persecuted and fumed, than somebody articulating with no problem. You'll find that you're better off obeying God through me. Because when you were open to the idea and you heard me out and you listened with your heart and you racked your mind and you asked your friends and family, ask your friends and family all day, so to speak. When you asked them, they had no better plan, no viable counterargument, no more moral way to live their lives in mind. You have to make the distinction. My father once told me, you have to make the distinction between good and better. You have to make the distinction between good and great. Loving God with all your heart and just feeling a little warm fuzzy. Being willing to die for God and just being inspired by Scripture. You have to make those distinctions. So what is loving you? Playing stupid about these things? And reinforcing falsehood so you keep stumbling in darkness? So you keep being misled by Luciferian light? Or is it accepting persecution and laying down my life to try to bring you to God? Thank you.